to One Girl in All the World, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch podcast where we recap each episode in order and discuss. I'm Ashley, Buffy superfan.
Kimmy, Buffy newbie.
You can find us on all major podcast apps, YouTube, and Instagram with new episodes on Tuesdays. All right, so we had a very interesting, well, you gave me some interesting text last night when you were watching Hush.
I feel like I'm guessing something correctly, but it has not been quite revealed yet, and then I was wrong on something else.
I don't even remember. The one thing when I said it's an interesting theory, but what was the other thing?
The new girl Tara being the princess. I was wrong on that.
Yeah, what was the other thing?
Oh, Willow and Tara.
Oh, gotcha. That Tara likes Willow. Okay, gotcha.
The way they look at each other. That's got love eyes written all over it. I know that look.
But you did like this episode.
This episode was amazing. Wow, you were right.
Yeah, I didn't feel too bad hyping it up because I know it lives up to the hype, so I didn't think you'd be disappointed.
Nope, definitely not.
Well, we're getting.
And actually, I can't. When I started watching it, I forgot that you had said that it was going to be such a good episode. And then as I was watching it, I was like, "Damn, yeah, okay."
Yeah, it's good. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Hush originally aired December 14th, 1999, written and directed by Joss Whedon. And the synopsis is, a silence falls over Sunnydale when otherworldly beings come to town and steal the power of speech from all the residents. Meanwhile, Riley gets his first clue to Buffy's Slayer side when they have a fight with the outside visitor. And Willow attends a wicked group. That's not all she had hoped. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so we go right into the episode. We don't get it previously on. Yeah. And we're in psych class. And Professor Walsh is talking about...
Are we in psych class?
Yeah.
Are we, though? In real life?
Right. We're in psych class. And Professor Walsh is talking about, like, communication, but really, like, nonverbal communication. Which is
par for this episode. Yeah, she's
will
like,
come into play.
When you have thoughts and experiences that you have no words for.
Yeah. Just so funny how it works that way, her dream.
Yeah.
And she asks Buffy to come down and, like, to volunteer. So she comes down and tells her to lay on her desk, which Buffy finds strange.
Yeah, I also find it strange.
We all would. But she does it, and then she asks Riley to come help. And then he just kind of goes up. Yeah, he just goes up to her and, like, kind of cradles her a little bit. And she says, this is strange, which it is, again. And he says, if I kiss you, it'll make the sun go down. And then...
Which is weird.
Yeah, and then something that someone would say in a dream. It's a weird thing, you know, where they just say weird lines, and you're like, huh?
Well, when they start kissing, I was like, oh, this is dream sequence.
They start kissing, and then the sun sets.
Yeah.
You can see it change. And then
nobody else is in the class.
Yeah, the classroom is empty. Yeah. So one little thing I want to say before we move on. So 2 people behind Buffy. You have to really, like, know who you're looking for. He's an extra. Huh?
I definitely don't know whatever it is you're going to say.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't know until I, like, looked at, like, further in this episode. I never noticed or knew. It's kind of, you have to know what you're looking for. You don't just, like, see it. So anyway, Andy Hallett, who is on Angel. He's Lauren on Angel, who is not even on Angel yet. It's too soon in the Angel's show. But he apparently was Joss Whedon's personal assistant, as a struggling actor. And they put him in this scene as one of the students.
Cool.
But he's a demon in Angel, so he has, like, full prosthetics and stuff. So
you can't tell.
You wouldn't be like, hey, that guy was in class with Buffy. Yeah, so he just looks like a normal person.
Cool.
Yeah, so Lauren from Angel is in the psych class with Buffy, which I thought was cool for people that watch Angel as well. So yeah, they kiss. Everybody's gone. All the students are gone, and Buffy hears humming.
Creepy humming.
It's like, do you hear that? So she walks into the hallway, and she sees this little blonde girl, holding a box in her hand, and she's singing a little, like,
creepy tune,
like a nursery rhyme, kind of.
Sure.
But it's the lyrics are, can't even shout, can't even cry, the gentlemen are coming by, looking in windows, knocking on doors, they need to take 7 and they might take yours. Can't call to mom, can't say a word, you're gonna die screaming, but you won't be heard.
So creepy.
Creepy. And then, like, a little song. Sometimes I just say the can't even shout, can't even cry. I say that sometimes. I'm like, it's so creepy. Like, it stays with you.
Very creepy.
So, yeah, the little The little song is very creepy. Yeah, so she sees this, and we see Riley kind of touch her shoulder from behind. She turns, and it's this, like, monster guy.
Creepy demon.
Very creepy.
The creepiest stuff.
This is, I would say, this is the creepiest Buffy episode.
It's so creepy.
Like, there are things that are, Buffy's not, like, scary.
Yeah.
But this episode, this is the creepiest Buffy episode, definitely. I'm trying to think if there's one. No, I don't think there's one that beats it. All right, so that wakes Buffy up in class. And Willow noticed that she was, like, sleeping, but she doesn't really tell her. She's like, wow.
She's like, that was such a great class. Like, those last 20 minutes, I would have never wanted to miss that, because I need to know I learned everything I needed to for, what'd you say, midterms, finals?
The final. And Buffy's like, oh, just tell me I didn't snore. So, yeah. So they leave. They're talking about that. And Riley noticed, too. He said, oh, you look so peaceful. But she's saying she had an intense dream. And Riley wants to know if he was in it. And so they're kind of chatting. And Willow excuses herself to go to Wicked Group. But she really kind of follows behind them to kind of spy. Because she obviously is shipping these two.
She's looking like she's doing better now. She's very supportive. Yeah. She's Team Buffy Riley. Do we have a nickname for them? Like Briley or something?
I've never really heard one. That's how popular they are, I guess.
Damn, okay.
Briley's a good one, though. I like it. It rolls off the tongue. So Briley, we call him Briley. I don't really run in the Buffy Riley circles, so they probably do have a couple names, but
Buffy.
Yeah, those bangles, Buffy, which are very widely used in the fandom. But like, I guess Briley. That's a good one. We'll go with Briley. Yeah, Willow's kind of snooping, and you said like, oh, she's like, even in her like depth, she was still trying to hook those two up, which was nice. Even in like her like really bad moments.
She's a good sweet person.
Yeah, she is.
And she loves Buffy.
Yeah, so Riley and Buffy keep walking outside the building, and he asks her what she's doing tonight. And she says patrolling, and has to like backpedal. She's like, petroleum. He says, you're doing petroleum. And homework. So she has to kind of just like cover that up because she slipped up. He says he's grading papers, and they're about to like go their separate ways.
She catches him in a slip up too. She's like, what papers?
Yeah, I think because she was like, oh God, did I not turn a paper in? That's what I thought it was.
Because I was just like, they just caught each other, basically, what I thought was hilarious.
Interesting. I guess it could be either way. The way I just took it was that she was like, oh shit, we only have the final. She says, we only have the final, like, do we need another thing? That's kind of how I saw it, but it could definitely be that way, too. So, yeah, he's about to kiss her, and then she's like, what papers? So it kind of, like, ruins the moment. And he says, oh, no, late papers. Okay, all right, well, bye. Bye. They go away. They, like, separate without kissing.
Sad.
So we go to the credits, we come back to Giles's, and we see Giles on the phone. It's obviously Buffy relaying the dream to him, because Buffy does have prophetic dreams as a Slayer. So he's like, it could be that, or it could just be the mystery that is your mind or your brain or something. Because we have weird dreams, right? Yes. All the time. So it doesn't actually mean it's like foreboding some kind of disaster.
But in this case.
But you have to take Buffy's into consideration. Yeah. So he's going to do some research and let her know. And at this point, he hangs up, and Spike comes into the kitchen, and he asks Spike, hey, have you ever heard of the Gentleman? And he's like, the Gentleman.
Spike is looking pretty comfortable at this point.
He is comfy.
He's just like chilling, lounging.
Yeah, he says, we need to get some more Weetabix. We're out of Weetabix. Do you know what Weetabix are?
Yeah, kind of. I've never had them, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like a kind of like a British like shredded wheat cereal thing. Yeah, okay. It comes in like a rectangle. I've never eaten it, but I'm very familiar with like what it looks like and everything. And like kind of like it gets like soggy from the milk or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of like a shredded wheat kind of thing. Okay. But it's like very British, so obviously like that's why. But like obviously they're both British, so wouldn't make sense that Giles would have it. He says, "Well, you ate it all again." And at this point, like you said, Spike is very comfortable.
Like roommates.
They are like roommates. And Spike comes and like lays on the couch and is like all spread out. He's eating like it looks like Ritz crackers and peanut butter. But so I've said this in the past, like. Spike likes his like human comforts, like food, which he does not have to eat, but he still likes it. He says he crumbles up the Weetabix in the blood for texture. And Giles is
Gross.
disgusted
That's pretty
by
gross, yeah.
this. Yeah. Anya and Xander are walking into Giles' courtyard.
Oh,
and they're having a
Xander.
conversation about how she thinks that he's using her.
Yeah, she doesn't feel like he really truly cares about her. Like
she
he
just
doesn't
cares
ask about her day. He's just
Yeah.
I mean,
and to be fair, we've talked about this. Xander has been very upfront with Anya.
Yep.
About what's going on.
He hasn't pursued her. She's continuously pursued him. So yeah.
Yeah, I think she's ready for some reciprocalness now.
He doesn't seem like the type of guy who would maybe ask about a person's day a lot. He just doesn't seem, what's the word? I don't know. Like
thoughtful.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to be
mindful.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. Like it just wouldn't come to mind for him.
Yeah.
Not in a mean way. That's just the way he is.
Yeah. So Anya's had about enough of like the pursuing. She wants to know that he cares for her in some way.
Yeah, and that's fair.
And that he's not just using her for sex. So they continue this conversation into Giles's without knocking. They come in. She says, "Oh, you care about lots of orgasms in front of everyone." Right. Yeah, so it makes everyone uncomfortable. And the reason they're there is that apparently Giles had left a message for Xander with his mom that he wanted him to come by. And he's like, "Well, I meant for you to come after sunset because I need you to watch Spike for a few days." And nobody is happy about this. So Giles says he's got a friend coming over and he wants him to be alone.
Privacy.
And Anya says, "Oh, an orgasm friend?"
Bow, chicka, bow, bow.
Yeah. So he doesn't want Spike there. But neither does Xander. Xander does not want him there. Spike doesn't want to go.
No.
He's like, if he comes with me, he's going to be tied up. And then Spike says, I'm not going to sit there when these two shag when I'm tied to a chair 3 feet away. This is a great line. Oh, yeah. So and Anya's, of course, like, this ruins our romantic night. No one's happy about this. So then we go to a Wicca group, and they're called the Daughters of Gaia. And they're talking about, basically breaks down to a bake sale. That's what they're going to do. They're going to have a bake sale. Yeah, they're going to have a fundraiser. They have a newsletter and all this. And Willow's, because even when Oz was still here, she was talking about Wicca group. So she's put in the time. She's been to like more than one meeting, Yeah. And it doesn't seem like there's any actual mention of doing spells.
They don't seem like they talk about spells.
Yeah.
And she tries to bring it up, and like the only person that really seems to have any interest is this new Tara chick.
Mm-hmm. And they kind of laugh at Willow. They're like, yeah, so then we'll get on our broomsticks and ride around on our broomsticks. Like, that's a stereotype. And
you're like, girls, you're a Wiccan group. What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you think it means?
Yeah, and like you said, Tara kind of tries to speak up, and then they want to like hear what she has to say, but she's obviously crippling shy. Yeah. And doesn't speak, but she notices that Willow's interested in like spells, so they have like there's something in common there. In the hallway, Buffy and Willow are talking about how much of a disappointment the Wicca group was, and that Willow's very disappointed. They come into their dorm, and Willow says, "Oh, hey, are you guys kissing?" And she's like, "Very much not kissing. Like, we just babble, get nervous, and we just haven't been able to make it happen."
Well, and she also feels like she's always having to lie to him.
Yeah, she had to cover up the petroleum. And yeah, she's going to have to lie to him all the time because that's like her full-time job. She's like a part-time student, full-time slayer. Yeah. Well, she's a full-time student and a full-time slayer. So, but it's like the most consequential part of her life. And to not share that with someone you're dating, it's kind of just like, what's the point almost,
I agree with that, yep.
So she's dealing with that. And then we go, it's funny because she's saying like, I wish I could just come clean. And then we go to the initiative where Riley is having the same conversation with, starting to Forrest about, Riley says she's so special, and Forrest is like, I get it. You think she's special. Like
a million times.
Yes, we get it. But you can't tell her, like, we wish we could all tell the girls that we date or that like us or that we like. We would think it's so cool, but we can't. We can't tell them anything.
Which is dumb. Yes, you can.
About their secret government ops job they have.
I thought you meant that they thought they were special.
Oh, no.
Okay. Yes.
About their
secret jobs, yes.
I hunt demons for the government. Like, okay, this is our last date. So at Xander ties up Spike to a recliner,
just
like right in the basement.
Sleep.
Only while he's going to sleep. Spike says, like, I'd bite you anyway. And they have this kind of like argument about whether Xander is worthy or tasty enough to be bit.
He's moist and delicious, and
Don't you forget it.
and Spike is like, yeah, I'm sure you're a regular, what is it,
Your
nummy
nummy
treat?
treat. And so Dan turns off the light, gets into bed, and Spike's like, I'm gonna fuck with him. And he's like, Xander, don't you care about me? He's pretending to be Anya. And Spike's like, Xander's like, shut up. He's like, Xander, shut up. Which is great. These two have some good banter because they hate each other so much. So at Giles, he is like looking, he's still researching, and he says 7 what? Because in the little nursery rhyme it said they need to take 7 and they might take yours. So he's trying to he's wondering what that specifically is about. Mm-hmm. And someone knocks on the door, and Olivia arrives.
His friend, his orgasm friend.
They have some small talk and then immediately like start kissing. So that's where that's gonna go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then we go to the clock tower, not the one at the high school, which we were up there with Jonathan. Like I guess the town like clock tower.
Yeah,
like a city clock tower. Where
that's creepy hands opening a box.
Yeah, and basically, okay, these are the gentlemen. I guess that's not really a spoiler. They're called the gentlemen. So the gentlemen are up there. They open the box that's from Buffy's dream. And then we kind of like do this montage around Sunnydale where like a white wisp of something leaves everyone's mouths while they're sleeping. Yeah. We see it happen to Giles.
I thought when I initially saw this, because you had asked me what the thing was last week and I guessed incorrectly. When I saw these wisps leaving people's mouths, I thought it was their dreams. I thought their dreams were leaving their bodies. But that would be
interesting. That could be an interesting plot. I feel like we've had dream ones. We've had several dream ones though, but yeah. Like, and they're sleeping, right? So that's like something you connect there. We see it happen to Olivia, Giles, Buffy, Willow, and some randos, an old man, people. Like just random people in the town. Yeah. And then they close the box. We all see them going into the box.
We see the creepy demons that Buffy saw in her dream. And
and then they close the box. So we get the idea, okay, whatever they took from everybody is like enclosed in this box. So it's the next morning in Buffy and Willow's dorm. Buffy gets up, goes to the bathroom, brushes her teeth. Like she's half asleep. She's not really she's not talking to anybody. Willow's still asleep. On her way back to her room, she sees a girl walking down the hall crying. And just goes like, you can kind of tell she's like notices, but keeps going back into her room. Her and Willow try to say good morning to each other. And nothing comes out.
They can't. And Willow at one point is like, am I deaf?
I've gone deaf. It's great because in this scene, you can like really read their lips very clearly.
Well, and also their facial expressions.
Yeah.
This is a really good facial expression.
This is a master class in like acting without saying anything. This whole episode is
They're both really, really good actresses. Yeah.
Yeah. They're freaking out. They're trying to scream and they can't hear each other. And then Buffy walks out into the hallway and sees everybody's gathering in the hallway trying to like communicate, but it's not just them. Xander wakes up, the bedhead, and immediately blames Spike that he can't speak. Spike tries to like...
Spike doesn't seem to care what's going on. He's like, meh.
He's like, I'm tied up all night. You can tell because he like gestures. Yeah. And then he tries to say something and he can't speak. Mm-hmm. And then he just, British version, flips Xander off. It's like, whatever. Dude, I'm just tied to this chair all night. I didn't do anything. Xander calls Buffy's room. Buffy goes to answer it, and they both
realize, like, oh,
I can't say anything.
Yeah, I can't talk, I can't listen, so yeah.
And then they just hang up, because what can they do? They can't say anything to each other.
Yeah. This was a good scene with Riley and his friends in the elevator.
Yeah, I think it's Low House, if I remember correctly, his house. So they're at the house. Everybody is kind of freaking out. He's hastily getting dressed as they're going down him and Forrest. They go into the secret elevator, and he puts a code, like the retinal scan gets it open. So his eye scan gets it open. They have like several fail safes, obviously. Like you have to have a lot of things to get into the access. So they're going down the elevator and it's like, remember we've had Riley have to do the vocal code before where he had to say something.
Didn't really think that one through.
Yeah. And he can't say anything. He just, he can't talk. And then it says, like, if you don't put in, like, the override code countermeasures will happen. And he's trying to put the code. He doesn't remember the code. Yeah. I like how Forrest is just holding up a piece of paper behind him being like, come on. Like, it's for us to see, but, it's just a waste of time.
Also, I like how they were the first ones that thought of doing that, by the way. Writing down things. Like, how's nobody thought of doing this yet?
Yeah, it was quick. And then thankfully, this like green gas starts coming into the countermeasures start coming into the elevator shaft. or the elevator, actual elevator. And then it opens and they run out, and Professor Welsh had opened the elevator and saved them and points to a sign that says, "In emergency, use stairway."
Yeah. Like,
They just were like,
thanks. Useful now. Thanks.
Ooh, okay. All right. In the student center, it's really creepy and eerie because Tara, who we met at the wiki group, was walking in. All the students are there. They're kind of milling around. They're very quiet. Like, it's so quiet. There's no music in this scene.
Yep.
So it's very quiet for us, too. And this guy, like, drops, like, a Snapple or something, a glass jar. And it
so loud.
It's so loud. And he just picks it up, and everyone's staring, and it's just so
awkward.
Weird. Like, it's just a weird experience. It's so quiet, and this, like, noise just, like, is loud regardless, but it's in the silence. It's so much louder. So Buffy and Willow are walking downtown, and people are kind of panicking.
It's creepy. I don't know if I saw this correctly, but it looked like maybe somebody was looting a store, and I guess things are shut down.
Well, I definitely saw the liquor store was open, and people were like running past each other in there to get liquor. Other places were closed. They see like people just sitting in the middle of the street, like don't know what to do, shocked. Like, I'm shocked probably.
It's just weird.
They see like a prayer group happening, and it says Revelations 15:1, which is Revelation, not Revelations. And then 15:1 is supposed to be about like the 7 plagues. So they may have been purposely chosen for the show because of like the 7 locusts. The 7 somethings.
The 7 hearts. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
It might just have been like a little 7-7 connection.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they see this guy, which this guy is the most accurate description of a situation like this. Like selling stuff, for like $100 or something, like
selling boards and markers.
The people that were selling hand sanitizer and toilet paper for $200 a pop during COVID. That's this guy. But $10, whatever. It's not too bad. Maybe in 90s that with inflation, we're like, that's a steal today. But maybe in the 90s that wasn't so good.
It's expensive.
So they kind of look at him like distastefully that he's selling them. And then they walk into Giles, both wearing them around their necks.
I mean, it is clever.
Yeah.
What else are you going to do?
Yeah. My grandma was deaf for like a good, I don't know, 7 years of her life. And she had like a board, but it was like more mechanical. Like you wrote on it and stuff, so you could communicate with her. And then you press a button and it would clear it. So
nice.
Around. Yeah. All right. So like I said, they come in, and Anya, Xander, Olivia, and Giles are there, and then Willow and Buffy come in, and she kind of says like anything. Then Giles shakes his head no. It's cute because Willow's like oh, and she writes something down and she says hi Giles. And it's sweet. Yeah, he just comes over and hugs her. He thinks it's sweet. I like that moment between them. That was cute.
That was cute.
Xander gets everyone's attention because the news is on. He turns it up, and the news is saying that the town is quarantined from a laryngitis outbreak.
Yeah, which is weird, and they're blaming it on a recent flu vaccine.
Oh my gosh, I know. Sure, you would think that this episode came out. God. This is like 2020 doing anti-vax stuff.
Oh my god. Also, like, just so we know how this works, it wouldn't be like the NDC code on a flu vaccine. There'd be enough that it would be more than just that city. Like, there's no way it would just be one specific city that was by one batch.
And even if let's just pretend, like, let's just like really give them license here. It wouldn't happen to everyone at the exact same time overnight. People don't get flu shots in mass like that.
At the exact same time.
Yeah,
you're right.
It's like ridiculous. Anyway, they're grasping for straws there. And Buffy writes a sheet on her little board that she's going to be in town tonight because she probably can tell that it's when darkness comes, it's going to be like
it's going down
crazy. People are going to be panicking and like looting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At the initiative, Maggie is kind of having the same conversation with the commandos that they're going to go out,
maintain order.
Yeah, go out, keep the peace, be in civilian clothing because we don't want to cause a panic with any military presence. And she's kind of using a more, technologically advanced. She's just typing into a computer system and it's telling them what she's saying. So that's how they're communicating. Oh, yeah. Then nobody still knows what's going on because Riley does write down and ask what's happening. They don't know.
Yeah.
So downtown, Buffy's walking. You see like a car has like hit a fire hydrant. Water's going everywhere. Like it's not good to be down there. Buffy sees Riley breaking up a fight between these two guys and heads over there. And after breaking up the fight. The one guy tries to pick something up. She just breaks his wrist and then goes in.
Gonna smack Riley.
Yeah, he was going to hurt somebody. And then Buffy and Riley kind of like, are you okay? Are you okay? Yes. And then they hear like a noise and they both are like, oh, I got to go this way. You know, we both got super, our Clark Kent-ness needs to happen. But then at the last minute, Riley kisses her.
Yeah, that was
before
cute.
she goes. Yeah. So back at the clock tower.
The scene's so creepy.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the clock tower, the gentleman and what they call like the footmen leave.
Those are those roll guys.
Yeah, they're like in straitjackets that are loose.
Super
and they like their faces are all like messed up.
Creepy.
Kind of look like scarred or like wrapped with stuff.
And they all look the same though.
And the gentlemen just float. They don't walk. They just levitate. And they go in groups of 2, and they have about like 2 footmen each with each group. And they go out into the town. Olivia wakes up in the middle of the night, hears something, walks over to the window, opens it, and then a gentleman is like right in the window looking at her, which is so creepy.
Yeah, super creepy.
So they're going around. One picks out a house, and they go up the stair, like up the driveway or whatever, the walkway, and then other ones are in the dorm. We see them like pass Buffy and Willow's dorm.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I thought they were looking for Buffy and Willow's dorm, but they're not. Like, and in this scene, like they're communicating somehow, but they're like, "This one, no, not that one. Keep going." And I'm like, "What?"
They're looking for something specific, but we never actually really find out.
And
what.
yeah, okay. No, I'm so curious to know what.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know how they would know this, but I feel like they always picked
single rooms.
Yeah, like someone that didn't have a roommate. But how I don't know how they would know that. I guess I don't know. Sixth Sense or something. So yeah, they pick a room, and this guy's sleeping in his bed, and he hears knocking on the door. He gets up and opens it, and it's the gentlemen are there, and the footmen come in, hold him down, screaming, but of course there's nothing coming out.
And they take a scalpel out, and I'm like, oh no. Mm-mm.
And they just start carving into him.
Oh.
Yeah. It's really nasty. So back at the clock tower, they all reconvene, and we see that they have 3 hearts in jars.
Like talking to each other somehow?
They're kind of like gesturing, and they all like start silently clapping, and like the other one's like, "Oh, thank you." That I, like they are communicating. They don't, you don't have to just talk to communicate. So they're communicating with like their gestures and stuff. But they all like clap for him, and it's so creepy. They have these like really permanent creepy smiles,
like grimaces.
Yeah, they are amazing, like villains. Like the way
I was wondering if this was going to give me nightmares, but it didn't.
In the dorm the next day, Buffy sees like a crowd gathering in front of one of the rooms, and she kind of slips by the security guard. Yeah, and sees the guy's body, and obviously his heart has been like butchered out of him.
Yeah. Super gross.
Yeah. At Giles, Olivia draws the gentleman, so she's drawing what she saw. And then Giles comes in with a newspaper, and there's a article that a 15-year-old girl's heart was removed. So one of the other hearts was a 15-year-old girl that they got. Yeah.
Brutal headline. Yeah, or they called it a brutal slaying.
Yeah. And then something rings a bell to him, and he like walks over and gets a book of fairy tales out. Which I liked. That scene was pretty cool. He like walks over there. The way they like put the book out and everything, it was pretty good. So in the classroom, this is a great scene.
So is this a psych room?
It probably is the psych room.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure they only have one classroom. We really only see one classroom, and they kind of.
All right.
So we have a projector presentation from Giles. Anya is there with her popcorn. Xander is there, and Buffy and Willow are there. Anya's like, this is so entertaining. She's really into this stuff.
Well, because she's still affected by it though, right? Like she can't talk either.
Mm-mm. No, because obviously it's like she's human, but like even demons, like Spike can't talk. So it's everybody.
Yeah.
So Giles puts on some music to narrate to this, and he has the projector, the old school projector, and like the clear.
I remember these.
Yeah.
Do you remember these?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Took me back.
Yeah.
So he says that the gentlemen are fairy tale monsters who come to a town, steal the voices, and then they collect 7 hearts, because obviously, like, nobody can scream in all of this.
Yep.
And Xander asks, how can we kill them? And Buffy's like, gestures.
I know,
like,
everybody's like,
with her
what are you doing? And then she has to, like,
frantically with her fist.
she has to grab her steak out and be like this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, guys?
Yeah. Joss Whedon said he cannot believe that the network let him away with that masturbation gesture.
Oh.
But obviously they did.
I didn't even. Oh, that's funny. I didn't. My brain did not go in the gutter.
What did you think? Why did you think everybody was looking at her?
Staking. She was staking.
But then she had to clarify that it was staking. So what did you think? You didn't think anything.
I thought they just didn't understand.
Oh yeah, it was supposed to be like a masturbation movement.
Nice.
Yeah. And they're like, no weapon can kill them.
Weapon can kill them. Yeah, no sword can kill them.
No, no sword can kill them. And he says, Will says it has to be a voice. Giles says it has to be a voice. Willow says, well, what about, puts up a CD. Like, can we just play music with a voice and maybe that'll work? He says, no, it needs to be a real human voice.
Well, he said that in the story, the princess screamed and they all died.
Yeah. And Buffy says, how to get my voice back? He says, we don't know that yet. And he puts up this is iconic, this image. Buffy will patrol tonight. And he draws a little picture of Buffy with a crossbow where she is very offended. Because she's like, my hips. Like, she's like being like, look how wide you drew my hips. That, like, Buffy will patrol tonight with that little stick figure is extremely popular in the fandom. I had that on my car. I had Buffy will patrol tonight with that on my car. That. Do you remember that? An older car. I had that. That's a very popular tattoo.
Your Prius. Yeah. Your orange little Prius.
Yeah, I don't have it anymore, but I had that on the back of my car. And yeah, it's a very popular Buffy tattoo, like shirts, stickers, all that stuff. Like that Buffy will patrol tonight is very. I used to get people like, oh, your Buffy sticker. So I love that. It's so good.
Nice. Okay.
And I love that Buffy was offended by his rendering of her body.
His stick figure drawing.
Yeah. Okay, so at the initiative, the commandos are gearing up. Now that people are being killed, now they are going out in like full like military get up.
They gotta contain things.
So out in like the neighborhood, Buffy and Riley patrol separately, and they both have crossbows, which is an interesting choice.
That was cute.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Riley sees movement up in the clock tower, so that draws his attention. So he goes to check it out.
That. Yeah,
let's check it out. We see Tara finds Willow's information in like the dorm directory, and she's walking there, and it's night, and she's by herself, which is very smart. And she drops her stuff, and then you hear the little the jingle jangle of the footman's hardware on their straitjackets. So that gets her attention. She looks, and like they're coming for her, so she gets chased by them.
That's so creepy.
And back in the neighborhood, Buffy sees one of the gentlemen in the distance, kind of like gliding, but then one of the footmen attacks her.
Grab her, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to go back. We kind of bounce back and forth a little bit. Tara is running through the dorm where Buffy and Willow live, banging on doors.
She's knocking on doors and nobody's answering. And like, I get it, because like everyone's like, I'm not going to answer my door right now. But...
Yeah, that's honest. Like, I wouldn't answer it. Like, that's exactly what happened to that guy. Yeah, she's just trying to get in and is banging on doors in Stevenson. But in the meantime, Buffy is fighting the footmen, and she breaks one of their necks. The other one takes off towards the watchtower.
This was like, oh, she can actually kill the non-floaters. That's good, because, I mean, we know
they're
she
just
can't kill the
minions.
floaty guys. Yeah, so she can kill the minions at least.
So she follows the one that's heading towards the clock tower. Riley enters the clock tower and is also attacked by one of the footmen. So again, we go back to the dorm. Tara is banging on the doors, and one of the doors she bangs on, it opens, and it's the gentleman already there with another heart. I was like, I forgot about that.
And she like runs back.
And as she's banging on the door, Willow wakes up in a different room down the hall. And Tara's running down the hall. Willow comes out, and they collide with each other. Willow hurts her leg, and they're both see the gentleman, and they run. They run together.
Yeah, get out of there.
So back at the clock tower, Buffy enters, and her and Riley haven't seen each other yet, but they're both fighting the footmen, and then they pull their weapons on each other. Yep. And because we have that reveal.
Face to face. Yeah,
they're face to face. They can't really say anything, but they're like shocked.
And they also can't avoid anything now. Like they know something.
Yeah. But that's got to be put on hold because they are in the middle of a big fight. So they both have to turn and like take care of the footmen. Yeah.
But I like how like they both start fighting, but like he's watching her while she's fighting.
He seems like
And
he's
he's
like, what
seen
the
her,
hell?
like he can tell, like he's like, okay, she's she's kicking ass.
Yeah.
She's like Laura Tomb Raider or whatever.
Laura Croft.
Laura Croft, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's
Badass.
impressed. He's like kind of like watching her swing around ropes and all kinds of
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So at Giles, Spike comes in and is drinking blood out of the
His librarian.
librarian mug, and as soon as he drinks it, he vamps. He goes into vamp face, and he goes over to the couch where Anya is napping. He drops some books. He goes to pick them up, and when Xander comes in the door, it looks like when Spike comes up, he's got blood on his mouth. He's vamp face, and it looks like Anya's dead.
Yeah.
So he immediately goes over to Spike and starts pummeling him.
Pummeling him. Oh my god.
Yeah.
He's pissed.
Yeah. And of course Spike can't fight back.
Yeah.
So Anya jumps up, she hears everything, and Spike's trying to point at her like she's fine, and Anya's trying to tell him I'm fine. Eventually he sees, and like they
And
kind
he's
of
like, oh
hug
thank
and stuff.
God.
Yeah. And I like when he looks at
Does
Spike like
care about her.
he looks at Spike like, sorry man. Spike's like, oh Jesus. And no, Olivia and Giles are looking on fondly, like they're smiling. How cute is that? That you know, Anya is so happy that Xander cares about her safety.
Yeah.
And then she does the like stick in the hole gesture. He wants him to go have sex, and so he takes off, and then everyone's grossed out, like Spike and like Olivia and Giles are like, ooh, okay, that was sweet, and then it turned. Also, the network had a problem with that, but they managed to like keep it.
I bet they did.
The hole in the peg.
I mean, I thought this scene was cute because I'm curious to see how the rest of the season goes with Xander and Anya, but I'm just kind of like, well, I'm wondering if he realized he really does care about her. Maybe this was a realization for him too.
Yeah, he's probably just a slow burner when it comes to her.
Most dudes are slow burns, I've learned.
So in the dorm, we catch up with Willow and Tara, and they run into the laundry room. They close the door. They're trying to push the big vending machine against the door.
But they can't.
They can't. And then Willow tries, they kind of fall on the floor, and Willow tries with her magic to move it.
Telepathically?
Yeah, with her magic. And it shakes, but it's not moving.
She's not strong enough.
Yeah. And then Tara kind of like, they link their hands together, and then it like flies against the wall.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so they've combined power. So Willow's like, holy shit. Like,
yep.
Obviously you have some power too.
Yeah.
So back at the watch tower, there's fighting. Lots of good fighting. It
looks like they start losing. Like Buffy gets trapped, demons coming in with a scalpel, and it's just like, damn.
Yeah, she does eventually get like held, and the gentleman stab her in her back. Riley saves her at one point with his like zapper gun. Yeah. So in the end, they're fighting everywhere. It's a pretty good fight scene. Buffy gets like put in a headlock by one of the footmen, and she's kind of like looking over their like little altar kind of thing, and she recognizes, we have a flash to her dream that the box, she puts two and two together, that box is the box the little girl had in the dream. So she tries to get Riley's attention, and she's like pointing at it. So he comes in, it's all slow-mo and dramatic, and he hits like a bottle that's next to the box.
And nothing happens.
He's like, looks up like a golden retriever, like, I did good, right? I did good. And she's like, oh God, no. And something I noticed is that when she sees it, and we look at the POV of Buffy seeing it, that bottle, that little whatever purple or green bottle, is on the right-hand side of the box. When Riley comes in and breaks it, it's on the left-hand side of the box.
Yeah, nice catch.
So she's really frustrated, and she's like trying to like, she mimics like an opening, like the hinge, to show like, okay, the box. So then he breaks the box. Finally he gets it. And all the voices rush out.
Go back.
Yeah, we see Riley's go into him. We see Buffy's go into hers. And then she immediately screams.
Is this actually her screaming?
It is not.
Okay.
It is not.
It didn't sound like her voice to me.
It was dubbed.
It was quite the scream.
Yeah. And the gentlemen all start like seizuring kind of, and then they just, their heads just pop. Yeah, their heads just pop into with a green goo everywhere.
It's gross.
Yeah, it was nasty. Buffy and Riley are kind of just
they just kind of look at each other.
Yeah. What can you say after that? So at the student center, Tara tells Willow that she was looking for her to do a spell, is why she went looking for her, to see if they could do a spell to make everyone speak again. She says that Willow's really interested in her because she actually practices, and they were saying, like, no one in the Wicca group knows what a witch even is.
Yeah, exactly.
Willow kind of shares that her mom was very powerful, that she's always practiced, and she says, yeah, my mom was very powerful. She had a lot of power like you. And Willow, like, poo-poos that. She's like, I am not a good witch. I'm nothing special. And Tara says, no, you are. And then they just, like, kind of smile at each other. So they find, like...
Yeah, they smile at each other.
They do.
With love eyes.
Heart eyes.
It right now.
Heart eyes. Heart eyes.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. So at Giles, we get a little short scene where Olivia and him are talking, and she's like, every time you talked about demons and witchcraft, I thought you were just being pretentious. He's like, I was, but I was also telling the truth. Yeah. And basically she says, I don't know if I can handle this. Which Giles looks disappointed.
Yeah.
That this might be too much to be in your life. I don't know if I can handle it. And then we go to Buffy's dorm where Riley comes over to talk. He's like, I think we should talk. She says, yeah, we should. And then they have just an awkward silence until the end of the episode.
What happens next.
It's like they're finally able physically to speak, but now they don't know what to say.
Nobody can say anything?
No, now they can't talk because they can't come up with the words. I'm not saying this episode. So
I found that scene a little frustrating because I was hoping that they would actually start talking, but...
Mm-hmm. It's a little kind of a cliffhanger, kind of. Yeah. That was the end of, like, before Christmas. So you had, like... until, like, the mid-January before it came back.
So, like, 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, well, like, a month, kind of.
A month, geez, okay.
Ish. Like, over the Christmas break, like, the winter break. Okay. And so, yeah, when you watched this live, you just didn't know for another month, like, what that conversation was going to go like. So, that was Hush. Such a good episode. I think it was nominated for 3 Emmy Awards.
Wow.
It didn't win, I don't think, but... Buffy was notoriously snubbed for things. I guess it wasn't like serious enough or whatever. But I'll get into that more later. But all right, so my favorite quote was, nowadays every girl with a henna tattoo and a spice rack thinks she's a sister of the Dark Ones.
Cute. Okay.
There's a lot of good ones. But there's only 14 minutes of speaking, so you don't have like a plethora of options. And then my favorite scene was Giles' 1990s PowerPoint presentation.
That was a good scene. Okay. Yeah.
So much good. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I had a tie between my favorite lines.
Okay.
One was when Giles was talking to Buffy and saying, well, it could be a prophetic dream or the eternal mystery that is your brain. That was cute. And then also when Anya says, oh, an orgasm friend.
Yes, that is a good one. That is a really, really good one. An orgasm friend. Like I said, I also like when Spike says, I'm not going to have these two shag when I'm tied to a chair 3 feet away. Yes, there's a couple really good ones. Yeah.
I think my favorite scene was actually when Buffy and Riley like got face to face with their crossbows, and then they were fighting, and like he's watching her, and he's like, "Oh, okay, she's this isn't like
knows
her
what she's
first
doing."
rodeo.
Yeah,
like, yeah. What's going on here? So
she knows what she's doing.
That question, that realization, that whatever. Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see where that goes.
Yeah, that was an interesting fight scene too because you don't get any. Obviously, it's just like punches and So that was good. So my stake rating, like, is 5 out of 5. This is like one of the best Buffy episodes. It's so well done. Amazing episode. Innovative, challenging, that they only did 14 minutes of speaking and everything else is nonverbal. Funny, extremely funny.
Very funny.
Scary.
So
like,
scary.
Legitimately creepy fest with the gentlemen.
It's too scary for me even.
Yeah, the gentlemen are legitimately really creepy.
Yep.
The design, like the villain design of them was so good. Like the smile, the like gestures, the slow moving, like the floating, and then they never went fast. It was like, doesn't matter. It's like in the horror movies, like no matter how fast you run, the villain never runs usually, but they will always catch up with you. You know what I mean? Like they always, the good ones like walk. They just walk a normal pace. There's no rush to get to you. That's what kind of reminded me of. Oh gosh, like this like innovative idea that they took for like how to tell the story. They do it 2 more times and like kind of like turn it on its head at least 2 more times I can think of episodes that are very much revered and from like a creative storytelling point. This would be the first of like 3, I would say.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are the other 2 episodes in this season or no?
No.
Okay.
They're not even, the other ones are not in the same season. The other 2 are in 2 different seasons too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
But those ones are also like revered as like really, really amazing episodes. I think because they just pushed the envelope. You know, that's what Buffy did a lot. Push the envelope on like storytelling. Yeah, so 5 out of 5. I'll be quiet. I could talk about it all day.
I mean, honestly, yeah, just the same. A lot of what you said. It was super creepy. It was very interesting. They had to be creative with it, and they really were. Like it really kept me interested. Like I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Yeah. And yeah, I like that they're back to the fairy tale thing. Everything was just really well done. I thought I shouldn't put too much emphasis on Anya and Xander because I don't know how long that's gonna last. But I just thought that was cute when like he realized that he actually does care about her. So their little relationship is kind of cute. I'm watching that.
They had a little breakthrough.
Yeah, and I'm very curious to see what happens with Buffy and Riley now.
I mean, that is going to be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's not really fair, but I feel like it's up to her to tell him what she does because I mean, he can't. I mean, I know she can't either, but like she has a little more freedom than he does.
She's a one-woman show, kind of, right?
Ultimately,
part of this
ultimately
bigger...
it's her decision, and for him, it's not. Like, it's not his decision. That's how I feel about it, at least, anyway. So, but I'm kind of nervous that they're both gonna be like, "Well, I can't say anything," and then that's it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because he is a spoke in a wheel, and Buffy is a wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so that does make
sense. Like, I know this is probably the date. Like, this is in time before NDAs, but like. NDA, let's pretend NDAs are a thing. This dude must have had to assigned a 100-page NDA for this job. So
the 90s, I'm sure they had NDA. The late 90s. This is the last episode of the 90s.
I guess I'd never even heard of an NDA before I moved to this part of the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Silicon Valley and their NDAs.
Yeah, this is end of 1999. The next episode's in 2000, so I would say NDAs were around.
Anyway,
maybe
so he's probably signed one then, so he can't say anything.
It's the government. I'm sure they had their
yeah, I guess that's true. They probably always had those
T's crossed and their I's dotted for sure.
Anyway, so yes. Okay.
So our next episode is called Doomed. What is Xander's new job?
Okay, so he was a bartender, yeah, construction guy, yeah.
He's racking up the experience.
What else do we do without any post-secondary education that isn't a bartender or a construction worker? I mean, there's a lot of things, actually. Any hints? No hints.
I mean, you're definitely on the right track. Like, it's something that you could do with, like, just a high school... Little education or no education.
Okay, I don't know, like retail or, like, food service? Let's say retail/food service.
Okay.
Guess he already did that with the bartending, but whatever. Okay. That's all I got.
That's drink service.
Drink service.
Okay. That's broad, but I'll give it to you. Okay, I'll let it fly this time.
Thank you.
Sure. So that wraps up season 4, episode 10, Hush. Again, you can find us on all major podcast apps and YouTube and Instagram at One Girl and All the World Pod. You can also email us at onegirlpod@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week with season 4, episode 11, Doomed. See you real soon.
Bye.